Questions better will.
Good morning and welcome to Gunner Short. Gunner Short में आप सबका स्वागत है and today we're going to head into China's sinking cities. Make no mistake, some of their cities are sinking. Look, at the outset, let me clarify something. It's not as if cities don't sink, cities do sink. In fact, that problem is prevalent even in India. But in China, it's assuming certain proportions. And that is peculiar. You know, they say modernization with Chinese characteristics, communism with Chinese characteristics, religion, Buddhism with Chinese characteristics. So Chinese cities are sinking with Chinese characteristics. That is the difference. And when Chinese cities sink with Chinese characteristics, they sink fast. So the business of China development, modernization, is coming home to roost. And I'll talk of it. I'll talk of our own problem also. This is not a problem which is only with China. It is with us also. But I think overall, we might be a little better off, or it explains a lot the way India progresses, and it also explains a lot of how China has progressed, and is now facing the problems of its progress. We'll talk of it. Okay, let's get going. I saw this actually 2 days back. I was going through, normal my reading on China and research on China, when I came across this interesting little clip. This is about a building, a multi-storied building in China, which has developed cracks. Why did it develop cracks? Because it sank. The moment it sank, okay, but look at this. Look at this. I mean, look at the kind of cracks which are there in buildings. And just go through this video, then you'll understand what I'm talking of. Okay.
这给他发了，不用看。这个。那两天不是个崽子了，这两天他写的更严重，他微型性别一天比一天严重。跟你说，带到这个一个楼。就主要是这儿脱鞋，在这儿已经是脱鞋子15过分、20过分都有了，在这儿。就中间他这脱鞋嘛，在这鞋20过分也多了。你看这都站面瞧，这都你看哇，你看哇。在，它鞋啊，中间是个凹陷处，跟你说，在这儿特别凹。
If you see the ground here, it's not as if this was an unoccupied building or a new building. This is a used building. You can make out, and of course, this is Chinese. You can make out from the signs there and all that. Okay.
你看这个水平，你看这玩意儿能看出来。为啥就上边人别裂别的？这你看都别裂了，看见吗？
Now this is serious. The beam is gone here.
快走啊！我怕跌下来砸死。 你开始打花了，咱们。
张家口荣顺城小区地下车库9号楼底下地下车库，整个从这儿一直整个裂下沉，然后你看从这儿这个柱，整个承重柱全成这样了，矮底下去，你看看这个房成啥了？圈整个这下头是一个坑，等于是这一堆柱子，这10几根柱子承重都不顶事儿了。你看这个柱子。看这个柱子，看看这个柱子，看看这个柱子就成这样了。整个这一圈，你看从地上这一二裂的，整个这一圈全部下沉。
So that's interesting. If you saw the way the ground is given way, the foundation, the pillars, the beams, and this is a multi-storied building which is in use. Obviously, now everyone has vacated because it has sunk. I mean, I don't know what that lady spoke in Chinese or Mandarin, but this is something which I picked off from Chinese site. Okay, this is something, and this is not isolated. There are more. If you go and search, you'll get more. So then I did a bit of research, and this whole thing, the problem in China started surfacing sometime last year. Before that, there's some vague mention that subsidence can happen and all that. And then I read a lot of articles. I'll just show you some so that you understand, what the hell is happening. This is New York Times last year. China's cities are sinking below sea level. They're going below sea level. That's the thing. Okay. Then rising seas and sinking cities signal a coastal crisis in China. This is important. This came out yesterday or not, sometime earlier this month. There's an article. It talks of the fact that, look, it makes a sensible point. Most of China's big cities are on the coast. Sea is rising. Cities are sinking. So what is it? Is it a catastrophe? It's not a catastrophe, let me tell you, at one level. But at another level, it is a catastrophe. And I'll come to it at the end. Let's understand why this is happening, and we'll do this analysis at the end. Okay? Again, China's cities are sinking, putting tens of millions at risk. This is only the risk part. Okay, risk like that apartment which you saw, that apartment building, is a huge one because you see the parking lot. All this has happened at the bottom, right? They would have been vacated before the building collapsed because this is not something which happens overnight. It develops. They would have been. But what about the cost for them, those people who are in that? There's an issue. If there's a guy in that, he's occupying a house, he's out, then where does he go? He's paying mortgage on that. So, tens of millions, mortgages, loss of property. Just imagine if you are in that situation. Then you're running around pillar to post, trying to find a new flat, this, that, all that. See, there's no more builder's guarantee there. There's no guarantee. No one gives you a guarantee anywhere when you buy a flat anywhere. There will be some escape clause, natural causes. This is a natural cause. No one will pay. What happens to that guy? This is what I call dead GDP. When that multi-storied flat was built, it contributes to GDP. But what now? It's gone. So this has started happening. This has started happening in China. the cost of what you have done, and we'll talk of it. I think I'm putting the cart before the horse. So BBC says water extraction and weight of buildings see half of China's cities sink. It's a fact. Why are China's cities sinking? A comprehensive analysis of causes, effects, and solutions. There are solutions. There are solutions. It's not as if they're not solutions. But what happens is the solutions also cost money, unless you thought of it before. But many things which are happening in China have not been thought of. This could happen to a building which is 10 years old. Then you have to expend more money on it, which means it's like a serpent eating its own tail. That's the major point in this whole thing. That you build something, it starts crumbling, then you have to spend more money. So whatever you earned everywhere else is now going back. Now you'll think, look, this is only cities. No. Yesterday I saw a PLA Daily article. I'm now connecting many things from somewhere else. PLA Daily article which says, look, more than spending on new equipment, we have to now maintain our old equipment. And maintenance of this equipment which we have got is that is building up. It's easy to create, but difficult to maintain. It's very costly to maintain all these assets. So now China is caught in that. It's caught in the trap of, when a thing doesn't function, you rush it in, you build it, you produce it, and you say you are number one, this one, that, all that, and suddenly you find it doesn't work. Or whatever you thought of, it's not giving you the proportionate results. So you have to spend more. So the cheap Chinese item is costly in the long run, which is eating up its GDP. It's going non-productive. Remember this. That is why I picked this up, because it's a very important thing. It touches people's lives. When you go to this article is very comprehensive. I would suggest, if you are interested, read this. It talks of places where there is subsidence. North China Plains, Yangtze River Delta, right? Fenway Plain, this Yangtze River Delta is this. Okay. Now, the blue ones are cities with accumulative land subsidence more than 1 meter. More than 1 meter sinking. There are the blue dots all along the coast. And red ones here are subsidence less than 1 meter. Subsidence means it's subsiding inside. Okay. So this is not the only one. Where is this thing? There's a similar map with many people. I thought I'll show you two different maps. These are the areas dominated by fast subsiding cities. Virtually their main cities are all subsiding. There are various analysis. I just pieced together, put them together and shown you. It might not be a logical thing, but just to put the idea in your head. 6% of land in China's coastal city have a relative elevation below sea level. That's a hell of a lot. If sea level rises by 3 feet, that will happen by 2021. But already we've reached the 1.5 degree mark, and people say the sea level, it rises by about 1-2 feet. Right? This percentage of land, which is now only 6% below sea level, will become 26% below sea level. I mean, let me also explain, understand. You go to the net and you check out this rising sea levels effect on India. You'll see a lot of India coast also gone. So I checked, if sea levels rise by 1 meter, 1 meter is 3 feet. That's why I said 3 feet. What will happen to Chennai city? I was more interested in my own house. Will it go underwater or not? Someone has mapped it. If it goes by 1 meter, up where it goes. And lo and behold, what do I see? I find that I might be on the beachfront. If the sea level rises 1 meter in off Chennai coast, my house, which is 3 kilometers away from the coast, I will be virtually the beach. I can go for an evening walk in the beach. I don't know when it'll happen. Maybe my grandson will go through that. But that's it. And Chennai and India are not so developed like China. And China, I'll give you the issues which are involved in this. And it's not as if sinking cities and the low-level areas are great. Most of Netherlands is down, is below sea level. They have a set of dikes. Long back I read about that heroic little boy who saw a dam with the dike with a leaking, and he put his finger in it. He put his finger in it and he stopped the water because he knew if the water continues, the dike will go, and then the village will get washed away. So he puts his finger in that dike and he sleeps next to that, and he goes frozen till next day morning. His father and mother keep searching where, and all the village searches, and they find this little boy next to a dike with a finger in his hand. I don't remember the name of that boy. And then he becomes a national hero because he saved the whole village. I mean, that's Netherlands. And Netherlands has a set of well-engineered dikes, everything, so that people, even if the land is below sea level, they can live safely. They've tamed that area. But China has not. Chinese characteristics, I told you, development with Chinese characteristics. They've just developed like idiots, which they are, the Communist Party. So when you say we should compete with China, we should be very careful what we are talking. Shanghai, historic records. People have gone into the historic records. Between 1921 and 1965, this is now 40 years, last century, Shanghai had sunk by 1.76 meters. Till 65, Shanghai was not so developed as it is now. Why did it sink? The early subsidence was mainly because of extraction of groundwater to support the growing population and emerging industry. Now the Yangtze River Delta is soft. Okay, and same goes, it extends right up to Shanghai. Even Tianjin, another coastal mega city, it started subsiding in 30s last century. By 60s, that Tianjin had sunk by more than 1 meter. Again, groundwater extraction. So we'll see various things here. This is what happens. You do land reclamation, you do underground mining, you do hydrocarbon extraction. What are you doing? The sponge under where you are building your mega cities is being extracted. So the weight of the buildings means this land will go down. And look at the groundwater extraction here. Let me blow it up. Look at the groundwater extraction here, which has gone up. So obviously, this whole city or this whole structures are going to set down. That's the physics of it. Industrialization. All these cities were trade centers and cultural centers. Suddenly they become industrial heavyweights. Factories have sprouted up. And industrialization, China, most manufacturing, industrialization, what happens when you put industry at a place? You need water. The first thing you need when you put industry at a place is water. So when you keep industrializing, you keep sucking water from under. So you take more groundwater. Okay. Then you do development. Because you put an industry, you want to urbanize. And China has urbanized hell of a lot. Their whole model of development is on urbanization. So there's a construction boom. Cities have come up. Overnight structures have come up. Great skyline, everything. Yeah, I mean, now if all these come up, you need infrastructure. All that adds weight to the ground. And all this needs water. Where will water come from? Underneath. Ground water in China has gone down. All this there in these reports. Just to highlight here, Shanghai alone built 800 kilometers of metro lines between 1993 and 2018. So a lot of digging, groundwork, all that. The critical factor is the speed and scale of urbanization outran urban planning and environmental protection. So construction went ahead without assessment, without planning. This is typical communist way of doing things. That guy is given a target, he has to achieve it at any cost. He achieves it. This is a characteristic, Chinese characteristic. So he does whatever he wants. As far as he's concerned, that fellow's got his promotion, whatever, everything. Xi Jinping is doing whatever he wants for China. The next generation suffers. The next generation suffers. And that is the story of China. All these things reinforce what I talk. Why there is a cap to China's development, as we understand it, is this. This is only one. You look at Mao's cultural revolution, he capped the next generation. You look at Deng Xiaoping, he capped complete Chinese civilization by that one-child policy. And then Hu Jintao and Jiang Zemin and even Xi Jinping. New quality development, and all that. This is what's happening. You want to get out of it, he'll say now, you see, the next lot of Chinese propaganda will be, all subsidence is happening. We have to protect China. So technology for all this nonsense they'll have to do and spend money. And then they'll say, this is our great technology. We are saving people. Yeah, you don't need it in the first place. You made it and now you have to guard it. That's the foolishness of Chinese communism. Then population growth. Now they might get a thing out of it, but the fact is this population is going to be there, 1 billion plus for quite some time. The problem with their population is not the growth or recession of population, but the urbanization. See, and this is a World Bank statistic. 1 minute. Hello. I'll just give you a call in 5 minutes if you don't mind. Okay. Right. So, like I was saying, sorry, there was a call. Now, this World Bank statistics. China's urban population was 191 million in 1980. And it has grown to 831 million in 2018 and 640 billion increase in 4 decades. And after that, it has grown further. Today, China cannot urbanize anymore. Very little. That's what it is. From 831, it went to 902 million in 2020. 63% of the total population is urbanized. From overall 17-18% urbanization, they went up to 63%. What happens then on a city? It has grown vertically. When you grow vertically, you dig water from down below. Every house, every apartment, you go anywhere in any country has a borewell. So what are you doing? The sponge underneath you is settling down. You're taking water away from that sponge. Earth, it is the sponge, and you tap into the groundwater. And this is a fact. And hence the weight itself will make the city sink. Fine, if the city has to just sink, fine. But there will be buildings which will go here and there. It will unsettle. The moment that happens to a multi-story building, the cracks develop. You saw that. And it is happening. You know, China has over 50% of the world's 100 tallest buildings. And most of them are in sinking cities like Shanghai and Guangzhou. So you wanted industrial output, you want expansion, environmental concerns were not taken care of. Look, this is not the only thing which has happened. If you analyze the floods just in the past 5 years, you know what people don't understand? China as a whole, as a country, is prone to droughts, floods. It's endemic in China. Every year I see that the amount of destruction by floods and droughts is more. Is it that the droughts and floods have increased? No, they have not increased. They have not increased because your infrastructure didn't cater for that problem. So when floods come, if there are no waterways, there are no channels, and you got put buildings here, they'll take it away or they'll flood you, and then you have to spend more to get out of that flood. Like last year, last year or year before last, those floods threatened Beijing. So what did these chaps do? They broke a dam somewhere so that the water goes to some other place, and they flooded that to save Beijing. China does all this. 2020 or 21, I don't remember, they broke 6 dams to save the Three Gorges Dam. So this is the phenomenon. Okay. You want to globalize, you want to be number one. This is what is happening in China at the fundamental level. People don't understand this. Another article which I picked up, it says groundwater extraction is hell of a lot. Groundwater level has gone down by more than 100 meters. 100 meters. And that's in 70% of those areas where subsidence is taking place. Where it is below 100 meters, subsidence in 70% of the cases has taken place. Mining. You do mining, naturally there'll be a subsidy. Mining has caused over 25,000 square kilometers to sink. So and mining needs water. Then heat, urban heat islands, because you're packed people in a city, the heat there goes up. Heat means soil shrinkage, underground heating, everything. And then, of course, the natural causes are there that China is always affected by climate change. There are problems. What are the future projections? Parts of Shanghai have sunk more than 3 meters since 1921. Current subsidence rates vary across the city. Some areas are sinking 10 millimeters per year. Beijing has a cumulative subsidence of up to 1.5 meters in some areas. Tianjin, which I spoke, Wuhan, Detong, all these are in problems. All these are in problems. Okay? Right. Let's get something else. They have solutions. People say they're creating, but that creation is at the cost of something else. It's costing. So there's a self-limiting factor in all this development which is taking place. China is caught in the cause and effect trap. It's a case of serpent eating its own tail. Okay, there's no doubt about it. Don't have doubts about it. Look, let me give you an example. I'll take the case. It's not as if it's peculiar to China. It's there in India also. I'll take the case of my own city, Chennai. Chennai never always experienced drought, not droughts, floods and typhoons and all that. But we coped with it. Of late, I see every time for the past 4 years, 3-4 years, every time there's a typhoon, there's an emergency here. Why? People have built in low-lying areas, which were earlier lakes. So you kill the lakes, you built there. So when the gods open up with their skies, that area gets flooded and people have to be evacuated. You're spending more and people die also. But the difference between what's happening in India and there is India, everything happens slowly. So at times, before a thing, before you go ahead with building in a hurry, the problem comes and then so that is working to our advantage. This is breakneck development which is happening without thinking, and Chinese don't think. Let's be very clear. People say Chinese think far and all. I don't think they think. I mean, I'm very sure they don't think. They just want immediate results. That's the Communist Party nature. Now, there's a connected problem. This has come out today morning. I picked it up from Guancha. There's this Nobel Prize winner who says, and they put it in their thing because he's talking the truth. Agriculture pressure is going to come on China because of this lack of water. And there are not enough people left because of their urbanization. They've left the agriculture to old people. So China is caught in a situation where people who are young don't know agriculture. They need agriculture otherwise to survive. Old people are looking after agriculture and there's no water. It's just not sinking cities which I'm highlighting. I'm highlighting much more than that. And no wonder this is a thing which has come out. For the next, till 2035, their average growth is going to be only 4%. This is officially from China. So that is what China is all about. Cities are sinking. They are not able to cope up with their environmental damage. If they are coping up. It's not as if they are not completely coping up. But the losses they're sustaining or getting because of this is huge. And this limits China's growth. Now compound it with what I told you earlier about the military equipment is all new. Now they have to put more into maintenance. People are vanishing. Agriculture, mining, everything. So why am I talking of all this? We have to understand China is no great nation in that sense. The people are great. The Chinese people are a civilization. But the CCP has messed it up completely. So if you think he's going to come and fight war with you, all that, and they have technology. I have no doubt about it. They've been better at it. But the cost which they are paying for it is huge. And this is just this. What about pollution? What about industrial pollution? It is something which we many times don't even understand. This is not geopolitical, nothing, but understanding China. This is a peek into everyday China. Right? Fine. So I'll take on questions after this because I have one more issue which I wanted to speak, and that is this, the Mamdani effect. Look, on Tuesday, I'm going to have a set of CASA dialogues on Mamdani effect. I'm getting someone who understands this whole story, who's written, and by then certain thing will form up. But I thought, let me put this across to you, put some facts across to you. I didn't want to discuss this, to be very honest. But one of you wrote an email to me, and that triggered. I said, okay, let me give you a preview of what we're going to discuss on Tuesday. I'll leave it to General Atta Hasnain, General Gautam Murthy, and Ambassador Ashok Sajanhar. They are the three people who are going to come, and we're going to discuss the Mamdani effect on Tuesday. Join in then, 8 o'clock. But I'll give you a preview of how I'm going to steer this discussion. Okay. And that preview I will take from what people say. Look at this set of cartoons. I found these cartoons very hilarious. Right? Of course, this you know who is? The Trump man, and New York is the apple, the poison apple. See the little serpent coming out? These are not mine. These are cartoons of which are coming up there. And then, of course, this is how they are depicting Mamdani, Statue of Liberty. Okay? Das Capital. He is seen as a communist. And he is one. And this mayor and this S. Che Guevara, the Che Guevara clone, a revolutionary, a violent revolutionary. So this is how people are in New York are seeing Zoran Mamdani. And some are depicting this. This particular cartoon is under a lot of controversy. Okay? But this is what I got today in the morning. And, I thought this triggered what I wanted to talk to all of you. What does it say? What does this email say? If Bharat has to suffer its 0.5 front, why shouldn't USA get its very own? Very interesting. The thought process itself set me off. And I said, today morning, I must do it even if it's for 5 minutes. USA are the ones who supported Pakistan and Turkey monetarily and militarily. Moreover, they built China into the economic giant sitting on our heads. Moreover, suppressing Bharat's growth. At least they are trying to, not succeeding. Well, their chickens have come home to roost. New York Center, the gateway to America, is now in the hands of an undercover jihadi. He. The irony of a first world empire in decline. There can be no greater symbology. The universe throws up signs when bad karma is due to come. For all their regime changes for decades now, the great American lady of freedom is now being controlled by a Muslim. Oh, the irony. It is an irony. And the worst part, politically and culturally, the ruling class is a redneck, right-wing, racist MAGA elite who can do nothing but look on. The irony of falling empire. Symbology is significant. Oh, sorry. I have very little to add to this. And whatever I have to add, I will, add on Tuesday. Right? I'll add on Tuesday. We'll talk of this with a panel on Tuesday and how this is going to affect many things. It's going to affect many things. Right? And it's going to affect America in great depth. But think for a moment, why has this come about? This huge polarization in America. Okay. Very clearly, Mamdani is a complete left-wing ideologist. The way he goes about. Mr. Trump is complete right-wing. Trump and his Republicans are moved completely to the right. And Mamdani and Democrats, the Democratic revival is based on complete left-wing socialism. There's no middle ground. America is suffering for lack of middle ground. If you went back, even 10 years back, there was a middle ground between America, the Democrats and the Republicans. Today that has vanished. And that is why they are under a shutdown. And this is going to have repercussions all over. If you think that this is only happening in America and everything else is okay, and China will be the number one, just forget it. You see what's happening in China, sinking. China has its own problems. Okay, let's turn to ourselves. You think we are home and free? I keep talking of India being the fastest growing economy, our future is bright, all that. It is bright, I have no doubt about it. But equally, we'll have a problem if we swing to the either extremes. We need a middle ground. The middle path is always good. That's what Dalai Lama said, the middle path. For whatever reason, good, bad, or ugly, in our country, that middle path is shrinking. People are this way. Look at our two great leaders. I won't say great leaders, two of our national leaders. The Prime Minister and our leader of opposition. They might be good, bad, or ugly is a matter of opinion. But look at the way they speak about each other. Where is the middle path? If our country doesn't have a middle path, we'll break down. Don't think we will revive. Unless all of us join together and move ahead, we can't. We can curse any politician. We have the right to curse any politician. It doesn't matter. But unfortunately, the politicians are drifting apart. Their drift apart is more about getting power without the responsibility or the accountability of what they have to do to owe to us as people. And that to me is distressing. I just thought I'll share this. What's happening today in America, what's happening in China, what's happening in many nations is rampant polarization. If that happens to India, we are in trouble. Right. I'll stop here. I'll take questions. I do hope you like this. Come back to me on Tuesday evening. We're going to have a discussion on this. Do subscribe to Gunner Shot and also become members of my channel. With this, I'll take some questions on. Yeah. Yeah, Akash, good morning. Nice that you're back. Ladybird Haru, good morning. Ashish Hegde, hello, morning. And Kiran also morning. Yeah, I had to re-see the Chumbi Valley and Young Husband video, and what a review, to be honest. A fantastic video, especially when viewed from Chinese angle, eagerly waiting for more geography videos. Yeah, we'll see it tomorrow morning. Tomorrow will be the travelogue on Bhutan. So all of you who want to understand Bhutan better, tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow we'll talk of it. Yeah, noodle technology, yes. Yeah, watch the CTBT with P Gurus and Claus. I sincerely agree that most people miss the point and do nuke mongering, forgetting that atomic power is not to be trifled with. Interesting times. Yeah, I'm gonna talk of it. Maybe one of these days I'll do my own solo because I've done a lot of research on this. But let me set the setting. Thank you for your presentation. Very difficult to get info on China. Really appreciate the analysis. Thank you. It's not well known that you mess. It's well known, yeah. It's Ritik. You mess with nature and it tends to mess back. The poor quality constructions, prioritizing speed over technology, make me feel worried about the dam on the Sangpo. It'll happen. There'll be a problem. There's no doubt. Yeah, Achintya, namaskar. Lot of ghost cities in China have seen this in lots of Chinese videos. Evergrande, yeah, that adds to the problem. That's a different thing. This is hidden. The sinking cities are hidden. This is the problem. Is this problem arising from concentrated development on certain areas? Yes, it's happening. Unfortunately, it's happening in India also. Massive hundreds of high-rise apartments all extracting groundwater and concentrate. It's happening in India. The only good thing is we are a little slow in all this. So, when things happen slowly, people get other options and opt for them. That's the saving grace for us. Heard the story, sir. Thank you. Prabhat, namaste. Singapore also reclaimed land, but they've done it well. Let's see. I mean, so far, nothing has come out of it. But China, there's a definite problem. Neil Aluwalia, yeah. Jai Hind. And your channel is the only channel in India discussing real time ground facts on China. No clickbait, no. Yeah. Look, that's why, let me be very honest, my subscription is less. I don't believe in hyperbole. I believe in detailed study. And that is why I've never been wrong, because I do research. Okay. I have not been wrong on China so far. Yeah. Namaskaram, Jayant. Yeah, this chap is from China. What about typical Indian democratic development? Yeah, I'm telling you, problems. We don't want speed. We want to grow slowly. We are okay with it. We might even not even develop. See, the thing is, even if you develop slowly and there are losses and you make mistakes, you can recuperate. China won't recuperate. Don't worry. Cow walking on the street. Yeah, you don't know because you've not seen a cow, no. These Chinese fellows don't know what's the value of a cow. When you have to cross a river anywhere, and when you had to cross a river with a vehicle, I'm telling you this because out of experience. When you have to cross a river with a vehicle and there's no bridge, how do you cross it? You see where the cows are going. Wherever the cows are crossing is invariably the place where the river is shallow and the ground underneath is hard. The Chinese fellows don't even know that. That's why this chap is talking like this. Cows on the road. So what if cows are on the road? Aren't they aren't they aren't they God's creatures? You want to have a dog in your house, you don't want to have a cow in your street. A pet dog, you want to bloody fondle it, but you don't want a cow. What kind of idiots you are? And you'll eat it. That cow gives you milk. That's why you have your tea. Joker. Amitesh, good morning. Yeah. Interesting topic. Typical big unchecked government syndrome. Gotta keep the big boss happy. Yeah, who cares of physics or engineering? This episode is specially for Amitesh. I think so. That's a nice one, Manoj. I like it. Amitesh, I hope you're listening. Start thinking. Put your thinking cap on. Okay. Open your eyes, open your head, open your ears. And then you'll realize that China is a monster which is eating itself. It's like I've always found that China is a serpent which eats its own tail. Yeah, 1 minute. Let me see. Oh, oh. Yeah. There are so many examples of ground subsidence in PRC. This is due to unscrupulous government backed private and public enterprises extracting money from hapless people who have no. Yeah, I agree with you. Right? Yeah, all these issues existing in India as well, such as water table declining. I agree with you. I'm not saying no to anything. I agree with you. We have to take care of it. The only thing is we have time to take care of it because our development is slow, but some things get auto-corrected in, as we go along. But if you do it at full space, you're sunk, finished. After that, you can only see them sinking. See, in many places, even in Dehradun, Nainital, and all these places, buildings have collapsed in India also because unscrupulous way of doing things. What you're showing is in sharp contrast to the glossy drone footage on Twitter that portrays China as a paradise. It's hardly a paradise, it's a hell, yeah. I pity these Chinese. They have to eat worms. They stink. They have to eat cockroaches. They have to eat bats. खाना नहीं मिलता उनको उधर. Have you thought of it this way? Would you like to eat grasshoppers? They'll eat anything because they don't work on their fields and get good grain. पानी नहीं है उनके पास. Yeah, it's theoretically possible to reverse the sinking or even financially possible. It's all that is there. That the last one is important. Dragon burning its own tail. Yeah, China is crumbling. Don't compare Bharat. Chinese have failed economically, socially, and militarily. Period. Wake up. Don't live in Maya, you Chinese fool. I agree with John Jeffries completely. Yeah. Right. After Mamdani is done, New York won't be financial capital of America. We'll discuss all this on Tuesday. Yeah, we need to be careful and yeah, I agree with you and learn from others' mistakes. Good morning, General, and appreciation for your effort. Thanks. I found this whole story interesting today. That's the thing. Is religious conversion and play an important role in either good way or bad way? What's your? I'll not give. This is useless. People want to adopt a religion, they can go and adopt. They want to convert each other, they can adopt. Do what you want. And if it's forced conversion, I don't like it. That's criminal. Okay. But you want to pray to any kind of God, go and pray. But don't force the other guy to do it. Yeah, Indians had to follow US perspective content like China Uncensored on China for years. At times, Taiwan is good that you put an effort to do an Indian perspective for Indians to consume. That's important. I think the Indian perspective on China is more important than what others talk. That's propaganda, actually. 0.5 war, I see it as 1008 front war on India, not 2.5. Okay. Is there ways to avoid violent swings that US is experiencing? Come on Monday, I'll get that panel to answer all this. Ask them. Trump is reacting to Mamdani by escalating call for removal of filibuster. All that we'll talk tomorrow, Monday. Yeah. Right. Now let me see. He even uttered some nonsense about armed forces control. Forget him. Yeah. Liberal politics has shrunk in many democracies, including US and India. This is due to people taking advantage of liberal policies to promote their hardline agenda. Hardline politics is rising. I agree with it. And this hardline is both on the left and the right. India will suffer from appeasement, not polarization. That's a view. Yeah. Yeah, one good thing for us is that our executive is very moderate. Politics has religious, caste, and ethnic issues, but the executive has always been good. Middle path is teaching of Lord Buddha. Yep, I agree with you. Thanks for today's session. Wonderful. Looks like real estate bubble has busted. How they are able to show GDP healthy is surprising. Thanks, Mamdani. Yeah. Let's see on Monday. Yeah, I am only concerned about the Chinese poodles in Bharat. Okay. Right. Israel India defense deal of build and deliver one warship every 40 days is unsettled. Chinese strategists, your thought? I will talk of it later. Don't worry. Okay. We'll talk of all these things. Right. Thanks a lot. I've enjoyed myself talking to you because this is something which I came across and I did a little research and put it across to you. And do join me on Tuesday because Tuesday we're going to have a talk of this mayor who's come in USA and he's shaken up a lot of things there. Well, till then, have a great day. Join in the evening around 7:15. I'm sure Sanjay Dixit will come out with some thing. I don't know whether he'll be ready or not because Jaipur Dialogues is on today. I don't know their annual function. If he comes, fine. Otherwise, we'll continue. I'll come up with something else. Right? Till then, have a great day. Enjoy yourself and Jai Hind.